Hi everyone, this is Eli Wood with Voltage Control, and today we're going to be covering a beginner tutorial to using Adobe InDesign Creative Cloud to recreate a music festival lineup poster like the Austin City Limits Music Festival poster. Everyone looks forward to this poster at the beginning of the year, and it's really exciting that we as designers can recreate a poster that's as complex as this very quickly by taking advantage of tools such as the baseline grid, our columns and gutters, as well as character styles to really efficiently work with large amounts of text in InDesign. So let's get started. We'll go to File, New, and create a new document. And we're going to change our units to inches because that's what we're most familiar working with. Experienced print designers might be comfortable working in things like points and picas, but for our sake of creating a beginner tutorial, we'll stick to inches. Go ahead and set the width to be 36 inches, the height to 24 inches. Leave it at one page because we're just doing a single-sided poster. Then we're going to use 3 columns that'll kind of serve as our guide with a 1-inch gutter in between those columns. Now let's go down to margins, and we'll leave the top and bottom margin to be 1/2 inch each. But we want our inside and outside margin to be set to 2 inches to give us some space to work with, maybe if you want to create more flexibility in the future. Go ahead and hit create once you have your settings. And really quickly, we'll just kind of look at what we have in our viewport. We can see our 2-inch margin with a 10-inch column, 1-inch gutter, 10-inch column, 1-inch gutter, 10-inch column, 2-inch margin. This is going to allow us to really be flexible when inputting our large amounts of text. But let's get started by dropping in some of our text that we have. I'm just going to press T to get the type tool. And then I'm going to drag a full text block into my column. Now, here's a chance to go to the link in the video and download the resources available via Google Drive. I've already pre-made all of the festival lineups for both weekend 1 and weekend 2, including the band. Just to give you a preview of that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab the ACL 18-Weekend 1 document and open it. And we'll go into this document and we'll see that we have a Weekend 1 header with the day, date, and then the names of the bands who are going to be present. All we have to do is press Control or Command A to select all of the text, and then we'll copy that text and go back to our InDesign, and then simply press Command or Control V to drop the text in. Now, InDesign will represent that text as blocks if your resolution is not able to support it. But really all we need to do is press Command A again to select all of the text. And we're just going to go ahead and bump up the font size so that we can see it. Let's go to something like 30. Awesome. Now we can see our text big, and we notice that all of the formatting has gone. Not to worry, that's going to be all right. Now let's press Escape to get back to our selection tool, and then we're going to hold Option or Alt, depending on what platform you're on, and click and drag to duplicate the text. Now let's double click to select all the text and press Command A, and then go ahead and delete that because we want to use our second column for weekend 2. Go back to the Google Drive folder, open up the ACL 18-Weekend 2. Again, we're going to repeat by using Command or Control A to select all of the text, Command or Control C to copy it, then go back to InDesign, simply Command V to paste all of the text. Now you'll notice that our text is overlapping the box, and we're going to see this plus button to show us that there's more text that's being hidden. So it turns out that 30 points is going to be slightly too large. So let's shift select both of the text boxes and just so that we can keep an eye on the text, let's drop it down to 24. Perfect. Now, we're going to duplicate the middle box to the left column and repeat again by double clicking to select the end of the text box. Control A or Command A if you're on a Mac to delete that text. We'll go back to the poster resources folder. We're going to go grab some additional ACL text elements. Right now, we're just interested in some of these key text elements that are present on the poster. So we'll copy everything from the title of the festival down to tickets on sale now at aclfest.com. Press Command or Control C to copy it, and then switch back to your InDesign file with the text box selected. Press Command or Control V to paste it. Okay, we have some of the basic text elements ready and available for us to begin to manipulate in InDesign. Now, it can be tempting to go ahead and to start adding font styles, colors, and beginning to size these, but I want to show you a couple of tools that can really help assist you before manipulating the text too far. The first thing that we're going to do, we're going to go to InDesign and Preferences. We're going to go to Grids. Using grids are going to be an extremely powerful tool for us to use so that we can keep control of our text as we begin designing some of the text elements in more detail. I like to leave the color light blue for the baseline grid. We're going to have it start at 1/2 inch so that it matches up with our margin. That's relative to the top of the page. Now, we already have noticed that we've had to size our text to be 24 points. Let's go ahead and set the increment for our baseline grid to be the same at 24 points. Now for the view threshold, this is the setting that controls when you'll be able to view the baseline grid. You notice that we're already zoomed out at 38%. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the view threshold to be less than what we're currently zoomed in at so that the baseline grid appears. Go ahead and press OK. Now, once we have those settings, we're going to go to View, Grids and Guides, and we're going to show our baseline grid. Now that our baseline grid has appeared, we can make our text align to it so that we actually can drive our text using our grids and guides in a way that keeps flexibility as we begin to change the sizing of these text elements. Right now, we notice though that our text does not align with the baseline grid. This is a simple fix where we can simply shift select all of our text boxes and open the paragraph palette. If your paragraph palette is not available on your right-hand toolbar, simply go to Window, type in Tables, and then select the paragraph. Once you do that, you'll notice an icon in the bottom right. And when you hover over it, you'll see that we can turn on the option to align our paragraphs to the baseline grid. Simply select that, and you'll notice that our text immediately snaps to the baseline grid, which already is beginning to read much more clearly and gives us room to breathe. With large bodies of text like this, line spacing and kerning is extremely important, and the baseline grid is going to help us drive that dynamically. As is usual, I highly recommend turning off hyphenation by unchecking the select box so that the names of our artists are not cut off. Now we can switch back to the character palette. Ensure that your character styles are activated by going to Window, type in Tables, Character, as well as Styles, and turn on your character styles. Now, once you've done that, I'm actually going to just simply make some global changes with our text boxes still selected. We're going to go ahead and set every text element to be Arial regular. Now, we need to see what this is going to start looking like. Control-Alt-Quote, or if you're on a Mac, Command-Option-Quote. And so when we turn that off, we can really start to see what the spacing of our text is looking like. But for now, we want to leave our baseline grid on because we have some spacing issues that we need to work out. Here we can notice that there's some double spacing in between the weekends. Let's go ahead and pull that out just by simply going and removing them. And now that our baseline grid is driving the spacing between our text, we can see that we're overlapping again. And we want to go ahead and just bring those down so that we can see all of our text visible. I'm going to change it to be 22 points. That's a little bit better, and we'll be able to work on some of the spacing elements shortly. We need to deal with some hierarchy in the text. So let's go ahead and use our weekend 1 and let's make it Arial bold. Let's go ahead and increase the size to be 60, just so we can have some big headers for our weekends. And we're going to leave our second column the way it is currently so that I can show you how to use character styles to duplicate the work over. In the case of Friday, October 5th, 2018, let's go ahead and change this to bold as well, but we're going to keep it slightly smaller at something like 40. Awesome. This is starting to look pretty great. Now, I want my text to read a little bit clearer and to condense slightly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually stick to using bold, but now we're going to change the text spacing to be 20, the dates. So we're going to do Arial bold, change this to 40 points. Again, select Sunday, October 7th. We go Arial bold, go 40 points. Now we can simply use Control A, and we can change this to bold so that all of our text is bolded. Not really liking the spacing in the baseline grid, so we'll select it. We're going to InDesign, Preferences, Grids, and let's drop our baseline grid to be 22. It's looking a little bit better. Now we're not seeing so much wrapping occurring on our concert dates. And we can start to consider how we might want to condense this slightly more. Let's go ahead and select our weekend 1. We're going to go to character styles. And here you'll see a page that if you hover will give you a tooltip to create a new style. Let's go ahead and select that and then double click character style 1 and change the name of it to be a weekend title. Next, we're going to select the date and the day, and we're going to give that a new style as well by clicking on the page icon. And we're going to double click it. And sometimes it will open a text box for your character style options. Here we're going to call this date title. And finally, we're going to select our text, and we're going to call that bands. Now that we have those character styles, if we easily want to recreate this, we can simply select the weekend and click on weekend title. We can simply select the date and click on date title. As you get more and more experience with InDesign, you'll find even faster ways to manipulate the text in this way. So that once you set all of these, all you have to do is change your character styles and they will globally propagate through the entire document.